Madam, please start.
Dr. Sheikh Nazir sir, HOD and convener of the event, Dr. PVN Malleshwara sir, today's resource person, Dr. D. Praveen Cham from Tamil Nadu, and all the participants from various esteemed institutes in and out India. Good afternoon to all of you, and a warm welcome to all for a 5-day virtual international faculty development program on emotional intelligence and life skills management in association with LTI Guntur chapter from today to 6th December 2024. I am Dr. Venkatlakshmi Kancheti, Assistant Professor and co-convener of this prestigious event. As we gather here today, I would like to begin with a thought-provoking quote that resonates with the theme of our program. A person who is in touch with his or her feelings will have a stronger chance of effectively leading those he or she is responsible for leading. In line with this philosophy, the Department of English at Bapatla Engineering College and Autonomous Institute is delighted to host an international faculty development program on emotional intelligence and life skills management. This event is organized in association with Altai Guntur chapter. This comprehensive 5-day program running from today to 6th December aims to equip participants with the knowledge and skills necessary to cultivate emotional intelligence and life skills management. Thank you. And let us embark on this enriching journey together. Without further ado, now let us begin our inaugural session. I invite our beloved principal, Dr. Sheikh Nazir sir, to join us.
Good afternoon, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite our HOD and co-convener, Dr. PVN Malleshwara sir, to join us.
Good afternoon, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is an honor to invite today's resource person, Dr. D. Praveen Cham, to join us.
Hello, ma'am. This is Praveen here.
Thank you, sir. It is a great privilege to invite HOD and convener of the event to present his remarks.
Okay. Respected Principal Sir, Dr. Sheikh Nazir Garu, today's resource person, Dr. Praveen Sam Sir, deans, heads of the departments, KC Kavinder, physical director, and other esteemed participants all over the world. I welcome you all for the 5-day International Faculty Development Program on working with emotional intelligence and life skills management. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants, and let me tell you why we have chosen the theme. If you look at the theme, working with emotional intelligence and life skills management, when I looked at it, I immediately it strikes in my mind that Stephen Covey's statement: most people do not listen with the intent to understand; they listen with the intent to reply. This is actually true. The problems it comes here when we don't understand, when we don't understand to, when we don't listen to understand, the problems automatically will come. So now we sit together as a team, Department of English. We discuss and finalize the topic, emotional intelligence and life skills management, because we are working here and somewhere. So we have to work with the people. Basically, we are unable to recognize our emotions and their effects. Most of the people fail actually when they realize their emotions and their effects. We have to know which emotions they are feeling and why. And also, we should realize the links between their feelings, especially what they think, what they do, and what they say. So, really, we as a fraternity, I think somewhere we are failing in that particular aspect as far as my knowledge is concerned. So, we should recognize how their feelings affect their performances. And also, we should have a guiding awareness of their values and goals. So, with this motive, we, Department of English, as a unit, as a team, we finalized the theme working with emotional intelligence and life skills management. So when we shared the poster and all the details pertaining to the event, I think it has really a great the number I would like to share here. Overwhelming response all over the world. It's all about 763. I just checked it now. 763 out of 763 participants, 76 percentage of 76 percentage from Indians. The rest of 22 percentage is about other countries like US, UK, Iran, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. Really, I thank all the participants who joined here in the session. Definitely, at the end of the session, it will be more fruitful. Definitely, you'll be happy at the end of the session. And as a part of as a part of my duty, I would like to thank our management for granting the fund for conducting this event. I also thank our principal sir, Dr. Sheikh Najir Garu, for his continuous support for this event. I also thank to all the resource persons for their acceptance and the co-convener of this event, Dr. K. Venkatlakshmi Madam, staff coordinators, Kalyan sir, Shabrin Madam, and all Department of English faculty. I really thank to everybody for your continuous support for conducting this event. And also I thank Mandeep sir, IKS convener. He has given a good technical support to this event. Really thank you, sir. And also I thank all the Awasians. You are there always with us for conducting any type of event. Thank you so much and all the best to everybody. Definitely the session will be more fruitful than you are expecting. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, sir. I deem it a great honor to invite the principal of Bapatla Engineering College, Dr. Sheikh Nazir sir, to address the gathering.
Is my voice is audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is very clear.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Respected Head of the Department English, Dr. PVN Malleswarrao, sir. Co-convener of this event, Dr. K. Venkatlakshmi, madam. Faculty coordinators, Dr. Sheikh Shabrina Sultana, madam, and Mr. K. Kalyan Kumar. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, faculty, and participants, a very good afternoon to all. It is an honor to welcome you to the International Faculty Development Program on Working with Emotional Intelligence and Life Skills Management, organized by Department of English, Bapatla Engineering College, represents our commitment and fostering excellence in education. We are all aware that in today's world, emotional intelligence and life skills are not just desirable, they are essential. These competencies transform technical expertise into meaningful connections, enabling us to nurture not only skilled professionals but also empathetic leaders. We are privileged to host a panel of global experts who will illuminate how these skills drive personal growth, enhance professional effectiveness, and strengthen leaderships. Their insights will guide us in shaping more impactful approach to the education. In this connection, I thank Dr. D. Praveen Sam sir from SSN College of Engineering, Chennai, accepting our invitation as a resource person for today's day one presentation, optimizing emotional intelligence and life skills management for an AI integrated workforce. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And next coming 5 days, I request all the participants to actively participate, exchange ideas, and embrace new perspectives. Let this program ignite a passion for integrating emotional intelligence and life skills into our teaching and everyday lives, fostering progress in our students, institutions, and communities. Let us seize this opportunity to transform education into a platform for holistic development and enduring impact. I once again congratulate and appreciating to the convener and head of the department, co-convener of this event, and faculty coordinators and Department of English for organizing a wonderful international faculty development program. I wish you a productive and inspiring week to all. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Shabrin Sultana Madam to present the profile of today's resource person, Dr. D. Praveen Cham sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I feel pleasure to invite our resource person, Dr. D. Praveen Sam sir, who is a distinguished academic and practitioner in English language teaching with a career spanning over 18 years in teaching and 3 years as an e-learning specialist. Currently, he is serving as an assistant professor of English at SSN College of Engineering Autonomous Chennai. He has significantly contributed to the advancement of ELT through innovative teaching methodologies and cutting edge research. Dr. Sam holds a PhD from Anna University with a passion for content development and the integration of technology in education. Sir has completed PGCT and PGDT from the English Language and Foreign Language University, EFLU. Dr. Sam is specialized in asynchronous e-learning for English language teaching, material production for ELT, English literature, focusing on eco-criticism, tribal culture, and literary criticism. Dr. Sam has been instrumental in producing impactful research. As a PhD supervisor at Anna University, he has guided scholars on diverse topics such as eco criticism in Nehru's works and vocabulary retention among engineering students. His own scholarly works include numerous publications in Scopus, Web of Science, and UGC Care listed journals addressing innovative pedagogies and interdisciplinary applications of ELT. Dr. Sam has authored several books, including A Course in Technical English, published by Cambridge University Press in the year 2020. And the second credited book is Introduction to Design Thinking, published by McGraw Hill, India, in the year 2019. Dr. Sam has published another professional course, Technical English, a workbook published by Cambridge University Press in the year 2019. To explore the Dr. Sam professional engagements, he is an active member of English Language Teachers Association of India. He also serves as an editor for the ELT practitioner. His contribution to national and international conferences as a presenter and organizer highlight his commitment to enhancing ELT practices. Dr. Sam's key achievements are he developed a synchronous and asynchronous learning platforms for language teaching, and he is recognized for bridging gaps between traditional and modern teaching methods through research and practical innovations. He has guided multiple doctoral scholars, contributing to the body of knowledge in ELT and related fields. Dr. Sam dedication to academic excellence, coupled with his focus on the evolving dynamics of ELT, positions him as a leader in fostering innovative and sustainable approaches to educational qualification and English language practitioners. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And over to you, sir.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's very clear, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I was just thanking Shabreen ma'am for introducing me. Ma'am, I drink some water because it was too spontaneous. So you had to read a lot. Huh? So thank you for that introduction, and we'll move on to the presentation. And before I start, I would wholeheartedly congratulate the management and the department to take up this kind of a topic for an FTP. And I mean, this actually, as principal and the HOD pointed out, it is a need of the hour that we have to start emotionally understanding people rather than being rational to them all the time. So, which is not a good approach, which is not kind of humanly in nature. So that's with that remarks, I would like to start. So can I present my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me a minute. So I think the slide is visible to all. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I start? Okay, yeah. The organizers, if you can, I mean, we'll have this way. So I'll make my ideas. Uh, I'll present my ideas for a while, and then we'll have audience to post their questions, or they can ask if they. I don't know what kind of restrictions you have in this particular platform. Either they can write to me, or maybe one of you can read their questions to me. So then we'll discuss the questions. So I think. I deem more importance to those questions to be answered, and maybe that will kindle more interesting ideas. And this
Sure,
need not
sir.
be a this need not be a one-sided session where I talk and you people listen. Need not be like that. Maybe I've done the slides like it'll be predominantly pictures and questions. Maybe information not in the form of words predominantly or sentences predominantly. It will be images, and I would like to pose a lot of questions which need not be answered, but those questions are from self reflections. Maybe you can reflect yourself, and if there is a scope to answer, you can also unmute and answer. I don't know if you have the scope, or else you can write to me. Maybe I'll read the chat and other things. Yeah. So I've kind of titled my presentation as optimizing emotional intelligence for an AI integrated workforce. Life skills, I didn't make a mention of that here because it is understood. Because moment I say emotional intelligence and AI integrated workforce, life skills become a kind of an indispensable part of these two components. So I thought of not to make it evidently mentioned in the title. So we'll be focusing on emotional intelligence first, and then we'll move on to this AI integrated workforce. Anyway, so we'll move on. Okay, let us start from this particular. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Emotional intelligence. I think this is a kind of a buzzword in current day context, and also a kind of a context which is kind of being neglected in the context. Maybe people talk about that, people write about that, people publish papers, people do research. When it comes to real time application, there is an issue. I don't think we don't see emotional intelligence being prevailed around us. So I don't know why. We'll talk about that maybe in course of my slides. Okay, so what is this emotional intelligence? I mean, if someone wants to answer, you can answer, unmute and answer. See, there are no wrong answers or right answers in my session. So answers are answers. So it will have some point to make. So I want the participants to kind of be open in coming out with your ideas if you have, because sometimes no, those ideas will be great. I think people have raised their hands. Maybe if the organizers can permit one or two people to come out with their ideas, it will be interesting. So what is emotional intelligence? Can someone answer? I think I think I'm playing the role of a bad teacher, because a bad teacher will keep on asking questions from the student's point of view. No, so when we ask a lot of questions, we become bad teachers. Maybe I would like to play a role of a bad teacher. I'll keep asking questions.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah, please.
During the presentation, they are permitted to post their questions in the chat box.
Oh, okay. I should. Okay, okay, then I'll read from the chat. Okay, in that case, it's fine. Okay, maybe because yeah. Anyway, I don't think I can read the chat. The chat says we have trouble in loading your messages. Okay, it's fine. We'll move on. Maybe I think maybe during the question and answer session we can have all these questions answered. Anyway, why the reason behind asking this question is this particular idea of emotional intelligence uh, need not have one particular definition. It is understood from people from different perspectives. If you are, for example, if you see, okay, the idea of emotional intelligence came into existence in the year 1990, when these two gentlemen, Peter Solvay and John Mayer, when they wrote their first paper called Emotional Intelligence in the journal called Imagination, Cognition, and Personality. So this is when the idea of emotional intelligence, idea came into existence, and people started talking about it to a large extent. Even before that, the ideas might be existing, but not in the context, or not in the title, or not in the collocation. Emotional intelligence. So Howard Gardner started even before that. He called it multiple intelligence, where he spoke about emotion as one of the components, but he didn't talk about emotional intelligence as a concept. Howard Gardner, he spoke multiple intelligence, and this is a pretty interesting idea, kind of given to us by these two gentlemen initially in the year 1990, and more. This was kind of popularized, and this was kind of made by everyone to understand. Even common men were able to understand this particular idea of emotional intelligence after this particular great work by Daniel Goleman. I think he was inspired by the idea of emotional intelligence. He has given a lot of ideas. He has written a lot of books Maybe I was kind of pulled into this idea after reading one of his books. I'll talk about that later in the session. So he, after writing this paper, like why it can matter more than IQ. So he started kind of comparing emotional intelligence with intellectual, I mean, intelligent quotients. He said, okay, sometimes we become too much rational and we behave like machines because of our IQ. IQ is one thing. It doesn't mean that IQ is not a human concept. Of course, a human concept. That's how we measure IQ. But according to Daniel Goleman, he say, okay, why IQ all the time? So emotional, that's EI, is something more applicable, more humanistic in nature. So why not that? This idea of taking emotional intelligence to common man for us to understand and see, okay, yes, fine, we got an experience of enjoying it only after this particular gentleman started talking about this since 1995. A very effective person. I'll be talking about his contribution more in course of my presentation. Fine. Just to give a kind of a technical idea of what emotional intelligence, I think this is a commonly known thing. I'm 90%, 95% of the audience will know this. So I thought I should not assume that you people know. I thought let me give a very, very kind of a comprehensive understanding or idea of emotional intelligence to you all. For example, it says it's an ability to recognize and understand one's emotion. That's called self-awareness. That's how they say. Then self-management. Okay, how to manage those emotions? Initially, we identify and recognize. Okay, I have these emotions. For example, if a person says, I have anger issues, I become angry often. So that's okay. That's an emotion I have in too much. So I should know how to manage it, maybe regulate it. Okay, so it doesn't mean getting into that mode is wrong. It is maybe, of course, it's also an emotion. I should know how to manage and regulate it. The second thing is called self-management, and third thing is going beyond us. That is okay. I have my own emotions. I've understood my emotions. My job done. Nothing like that. Emotional intelligence warrants you to go beyond you yourself and see the same emotion acting on other person. So only then we can interpret the other person through emotional intelligence. And the last thing is, okay, the influence and navigate social interactive act. For example, how to manage relationships keeping emotional intelligence as base. So these are the major kind of ideas with which emotional intelligence idea is built. So it refers to these four components. Anyway, this is for you to. I know people know this. I'm just kind of introducing this idea to you. Fine. They call, of course, they call these ideas called, I mean, components of emotional intelligence. Uh, this one thing, what I like this, I mean, specifically about this particular idea is, see, if you can see this kind of a structure, how it is built. It starts from self-awareness. Fine. I understand my emotions. I regulate my emotions. The third word is a very, very interesting word, an important word, as your HOD spoke about. This is what is kind of we lack these days. I don't know what. Initially, our forefathers, if you maybe, I'm talking about teaching fraternity, they had this to a large extent. They were able to empathize with people. I think most of us know what empathy is. So unless I'll understand a person to the core only when I try to put myself in his place. I mean, that's what empathy is all about. Empathy. So after empathy, a person who deals with situations emotionally will get motivated to kind of do things or handle things or solve problems. Definitely not create problems, but solve problems. And finally, those a combination of all these components gives him social skills. I would like to use another word like social awareness. See, the moment I start seeing people or kind of navigating or negotiating with people through the lens of emotional intelligence, I start seeing socially who a person is. Maybe the social skills, like how to understand people, maybe in the context, not generalize or not judge people, and all those ideas comes basically from understanding the emotions of of all of us. Anyway, these are the basics of emotional intelligence. Okay, fine. Now we have a huge issue. Maybe the topic given to me is how to optimize emotional intelligence. What do you mean by optimizing emotional intelligence? How to optimize? Because optimize is a very interesting, it's a technical word which means to make use of something to the maximum. For example, I have a skill of doing something. I'll have to optimize means I need to kind of suiting the current requirement. How do you make use of that particular skill to the maximum? That is what optimizing means. So now we have given a challenge of optimizing emotional intelligence. Of course, we all are human beings. We have emotions and we know how to deal with emotions. Every day we deal with emotions, different kinds of emotions. So, how to optimize it? Optimize, okay. Maybe in this context, how I see the word optimize is we all have emotions. uh, I mean, we deal with everyday emotions. Kind of, we have mixed emotions. We are not always happy, always sad, always angry. Fine, we have all kinds of emotions acting on us. Fine, but to what extent we see this as kind of a force that we have? We force in the sense maybe how to use this as a platform to function. Maybe we are teachers, for example, we have doctors, we have engineers. How maybe in course of functioning, that's what I mean by function. When I function as a teacher, when I function as an engineer, when I function as a doctor, when I function as a police officer or whatever, how do I optimize my emotional intelligence? So that is where the problem, kind of the problem is, and also that is where the idea lies. So unless we try to see our emotions in a functional way, to use our emotions in a functional way, to understand others in a functional way, to navigate a situation in a functional way. So that is what optimization in the context of emotional intelligence means. Anyway, we'll move on. Okay, from if you see from the optimization for a management point, from a management, okay, it's not for from the management point of view. I think there's a mistake there. From the management point of view, okay, see, I think this is how, for example, in the corporates, how people use this emotional intelligence. What is optimization? Not emotional intelligence. Here, what is optimization in the context of a corporate or a management point of view? They say define a goal, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Maybe this is how they have defined their optimization. If you can define a problem well, if you can measure the requirement to solve the problem, if you analyze the solution you have, and if you improvise on the solution and you get a control over the problem and the problem is solved. So this is a kind of a cycle they follow and they call this optimization. Okay, let us not go into this. We are talking about emotional intelligence, not this. But anyway, I thought the idea of optimization becomes clear when I give this example. Okay, fine. Next, from the philosophic point of view, what does philosophy says about this optimization? Sometimes, no, India is a country where philosophy is a part of all technology. Okay, not my words. I'll come to that later. So Donald Kant, he says, if you optimize everything, you'll be always unhappy. I mean, the kind of a contrary thing he says. He says, when I have all these kind of resources or all these powers or all these kind of what to say kind of knowledge or whatever whatever kind of spectrum we talk about, he says if you try to optimize everything, then life will be totally meaningless. We'll be trying all the life. We'll be trying to use the existing skills potentially, and by the time I realize that I've used, I'll be no more. So life becomes unhappy if I try to optimize everything. That's what philosophy says. Okay. Anyway, two extremes. No, maybe philosophy is one extreme. Maybe the corporates and how management. That's two different extremes. So the word optimize means. I think now we have understood what exactly optimize or optimization is. I stressed on the word optimize because maybe in my later slides when I talk about AI, so this word optimization becomes a very very important idea. So I would like to kind of talk about that a little later in the presentation, but I want the audience to keep the word optimization in your mind so that we'll talk. I'll be focusing on that from different perspectives. We'll move on. Fine. I was talking about a book by Daniel Goleman. He talks about working with emotional intelligence. This is a pretty. I would suggest this book to all of us because it's a very simply written book. A kind of the ideas are very very simple. I mean, ideas not simple but simply conveyed. It was kind of very very common man's language. Anyone who would like to take this idea of emotional intelligence very seriously, and you would like to use that as a strategy in your functions, I think you should start with this book. This is a kind of a very very interesting book which will coach you to use your emotions in different levels. Okay, to summarize this book, he says the best leaders don't know just one style of leadership. They are skilled at several and have the flexibility to switch between styles as the circumstances dictate. So this is what you can take this idea as a kind of summary of that particular book. If you want me to kind of take his code and tell what the book deals with, this is what the book deals with. So he talks about that. Maybe that's another very interesting idea for teachers. I have kind of rephrased or replaced the word leaders with teachers here. If you read the definition here, maybe wherever you see the word leaders and leadership, I've kind of replaced these words with teachers and teaching. So if you can read this, the best teachers don't know just one style of teaching. They are skilled at several and have flexibility to switch between styles. Here, I mean teaching styles as the circumstances dictate. I think this perfectly fits teachers. I mean, most of us in the group are teachers now, or at least students who are going to become teachers. I think this is where the beauty of emotional intelligence lies. So after this, David Coleman he started kind of focusing on emotional intelligence and teaching. So how to incorporate emotional intelligence and teaching? I think I don't know how many of us are researchers in the group. Maybe if you're trying to find an area where to focus on, we have been teaching English for a long time. We have been focusing on English research, language research. Maybe you have to little bit digress into something else. Maybe an interesting area. I think this will be a phenomenal idea. So this particular website, I mean, he talks about Daniel Goleman talks about emotional intelligence and teaching. How to use emotional intelligence as a strategy in teaching. So he's giving kind of a moment you strategize, it becomes a factor or a variable to research. I think that this is a scope. I mean, you have a lot of scope here to research emotional intelligence and teaching as teachers. So I thought of kind of redefining or kind of replacing the word leaders with teachers. This is not only for leaders. Maybe it indirectly means that every teacher is a leader. You lead because you are kind of a role model for your teachers, I mean for your students and other teachers as well. So all the teachers are indirectly leaders. We lead because we produce students. They go out and they get into the real time function. To what extent they are emotional, what extent they understand emotions, to what extent our students kind of function emotionally in their context. This is a very important idea because once you are emotionally connected to your functions, then let us not worry about policing students, because moment you become emotional you will stop policing students. That's what he Daniel Goleman talks. He is against policing students. He wants a teacher to be a part of the student community and try to teach them. Anyway, this is a kind of I mean, for teachers, emotional intelligence is not something a different area, but David Goleman again talks about emotional intelligence and teaching. So which I think we should start focusing, and maybe a couple of us can do research on that. Maybe if you can find some very interesting, you can write and publish it. There are a lot of very interesting journals that publish materials of this sort. Maybe teacher and teaching. Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah, so maybe after discussing about all these things, like what emotional intelligence is, so my reflection is this. So this is what I feel about emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, the kind of intelligence that enables us to supplement rational thoughts with emotional framework. See, sometimes it's called the book and bookishness. Uh, that's how I call it. Because talking about emotional intelligence, emotions every time is very interesting and it is keeping us very comfortable. But when it comes to living in this life, come on, working in our workplaces, kind of navigating or negotiating with people across the globe, or in your context, even in families, sometimes we are forced to be rational. Not sometimes, most of the time we are forced to be rational. And it becomes very difficult for us to kind of emotionally see the situation sometimes. I'm talking about this growth perspective generally. So we are training our students, we are training ourselves to be rational thinkers than emotional thinkers. I think if you can, I think all teachers will have to ask this question to ourselves. So we talk about emotional intelligence. Are we training our students to be a rational being or rational beings or emotional beings? So I think taking seeing this from a practical point of view, emotional intelligence is a very important thing, but we cannot see it separated from this rational thoughts, because that's how the world functions. That's how the world functions, and we should. It'll be effective if we can think of an emotional framework which or on which we function rationally. So our rational thoughts will have an emotional flavor. Like for example, cake is a cake, but we give different flavor to it. We call it red velvet, we call it black forest, we call it all kinds of things. No, we have different kinds of cake these days, but cake is generally a cake, but this flavor makes a difference. Children wants to buy one particular type of cake, they love it. Clear? Elders like one particular type of cake. So I think this framework matters. So we need to make our cakes more sweeter and sweet. I mean, being sweet is always not good. We need to be a little bit different. So I mean, I think that's how the world demands us to function. So my reflection is this: a kind of intelligence which enables us to supplement our rational thoughts with emotional framework. Okay, because I mean, I wanted to kind of give this kind of a reflection because after all, we are human beings. We know what kind of situation we live in and what are the emotions we face, or what are the problems, how we deal with problems. Most of the time, we want to be rational when it comes to a problem. How many of us kind of give emotional importance to the problem we face? We become emotionally upset. That's a different story. But how do you solve problems emotionally? So we don't have that kind of intention. I don't know. I don't know. We are not trained to do that. As teachers, we are training our students to be more rational beings. No, every test proves that. We want them to be the best and number one. So we don't teach them how to understand the emotions of the last in the class or people who need all those things. Maybe I think we understand the context of what rational thoughts are. Anyway, we'll move on. Okay, fine. So now we have come to the second idea. Like we this is one thing which I think the whole world is talking about now. That is artificial intelligence, AI. It's very clearly, it clearly says artificial intelligence. And again, there's a group of people who talk about how can intelligence be artificial. Intelligence is natural. Maybe even when you try to kind of transfer your idea, your knowledge, your intelligence to others, it becomes a natural process more than an artificial process. But when moment in the place of this knowledge or information or intelligence creator, if you replace a machine there where human beings are predominantly dependent. For example, think maybe for solutions we depend on human beings. Now slowly we have started shifting to machines to depend on. So moment a machine starts creating intelligence, it's called artificial intelligence. So that's how people talk about that. That's what maybe the person who initiated this idea of artificial intelligence um, has kind of directed us. Okay, fine. One question which lingers all the time when I talk about AI is that how many of you can tell how old is this idea of artificial intelligence? We now every class, every college, there's a kind of a discussion on artificial intelligence, and now a lot of BE courses coming up. A lot of colleges have started BE courses where it's called BAA, artificial intelligence and data science. I think now this has become a very prominent and very important idea recently. But I don't know how many of you will get surprised if you know that AI is 60 years old. It is not a recent idea. The AI is 60 years old. I don't know how many of you will believe me. Just go ask any AI platform or any person, AI teacher or AI expert. He'll clearly tell you AI is not something new. Only now it has gained momentum. Only now we are focusing on that. Maybe we have come to the second level of AI. All these time we were very AI was very silent. Now it has started making noise. So now we have something called generative AI, which generates ideas. Anyway, so this a quick comparison between I got this information in one of the very interesting blogs I follow. Here you can see the difference between or maybe how AI works and how EQ works, how emotional intelligence or emotional quotient works, and how it is different from AI. Maybe I am again I'm not judgmental saying that emotion is greater than artificial, all those things. Nothing. I'm trying to give you a kind of very fair idea like how A functions and how EQ functions. If there are any difference, that's I think it's your responsibility to understand. Maybe I just quickly read. I'll just keep the slide on the screen for next 1 minute. Just quickly go through the ideas, and you'll understand. Maybe this will help you to understand the other slides coming up. The word quick. That's a kind of I mean we get solutions quickly. Everything happens quickly. Maybe like how Thanos, no, in a kind of a clap of a finger, gets things done. Uh, is someone trying to tell something? Hear something from the
Sir,
background. Yeah.
sir, um, the participants will share their text on chat box.
Okay. Yeah. They are. Is it active? No. Chat box. Okay. So
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Because I'm not able to read my chat box. It says we have trouble in loading your messages. Try refreshing. I refreshed, but
Because
anyway.
we made the participants. So
Oh, I see. Okay, fine, fine.
yeah.
It'll be good if that happens, ma'am. One thing, maybe if you think there are very important questions or reflections, can you please post on the WhatsApp so that I can read?
Sure.
Just copy
Sure.
and
Sure.
paste because I'm
Okay.
not able to see this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Can I continue, ma'am, or should I?
Yes. 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 Please.
Thank you, thank you. Then. Okay, I think you understood the idea of EQ and AI. Emotion takes its own sweet time, whereas AI is very fast. So people are more inclined towards getting into ideas which are very fast, solutions which are very, very fast and rapid. Anyway, fine. I mean, when the world becomes faster, and we should know how to use these ideas of AI to make our lives faster, ideas faster, creations faster. I mean, again, that's why we all are living in a system which demands us to be fast. Anyway, I think we'll move on. Okay. I don't know how many of you know this particular gentleman is Roy C. Amara. He's a co-founder of an institute called Institute for Future. Kind of very intelligent person. He is no more. He passed away recently. He is no more, but very, very intelligent person. And he came out with a very interesting theory called Amara law. So maybe this is maybe a diagrammatic expression of the idea, what he had. Moment we talk about any technology, be it A is a recent one, but any technology for that matter, we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short run. Maybe we have not experienced A. Only now we have realized that A is 60 years old. It has come into place only recently, but we are overestimating its effect. We said, okay, maybe we have problems like, okay, AI will take human jobs. AI will be trusted more than human beings. AI is more efficient than human beings. And we have all these ideas. Maybe in the future, human beings will not exist. Only AI will exist. I think that's how we try to kind of overestimate the effect of technology in a short term. This idea is called Amara's law. That is in life. No, maybe we can use this law wherever we make a quick or kind of a quick overestimation of something before living with it for a long time. Maybe so initially, for example, take family. No, I don't know how many of your families here. Maybe initially we have issues with the family. First day, maybe family is not very sweet to us. Maybe in course of time we understand it. Only then we get to know how it behaves with us and how it accommodates us. Likewise, I think why I talk about this now here is I feel seeing the environment around me and also around all of us. The idea of AI is kind of being discussed to a large extent, and people again they throw a lot of kind of fear bombs like AI is going to take all the jobs out. AI is going to replace things, and teachers we already started facing about students using AI for assignments. Sometimes people use mobile phones in the exam and copy from an AI platform. So we have started seeing all these things. Taking this into consideration, I think we are overestimating this technology of artificial intelligence. I think we need to wait for some more time and then understand this. The point I thought of making here evidently is this. Yeah. So AI, maybe initially when it came into existence, for example, people started talking, or a lot of ideas were being published right from 2010. So it was called Wave One when internet came into existence. When internet was kind of largely, internet came even before that, but internet was largely available to common man from 2010 onwards. So anyone can access. For example, these kind of web bars, like where you go, sit, use 10 rupees, 20 rupees, you can use internet for 1 hour. So it was available for people. So that's called Wave One of A, which is called Internet A. Internet artificial intelligence. And from 2014 onwards, something very interesting took place. This internet and this artificial intelligence went into the business models. Now people started using AI into their business. In various, maybe for planning, maybe for staffing, all those business processes, they started using AI. This is called business AI. And 2016, something very interesting came into existence. It's called Wave 3, which is called perception AI. For example, initially it was like, okay, this is what is existing. Okay, use it or leave it. But this perception AI started, gave human beings kind of a leverage to customize your requirement. I can customize the requirement at this level. I can customize, for example, if I run a company, I can customize the existing AI facilities. So this is called Wave 3. It's called Perception AI. And 2018 onwards, right, 2 years before COVID, something very interesting took place. It's called Apple was the reason. I'll talk about that. I mean, maybe after this. It is called Wave 4, which is called autonomous AI, which is pretty interesting because autonomous AI is something like AI itself can decide. Okay, I'll give the responsibility to AI. Fine, come on, do this. Let it do for us. For example, I run a company, again a business. I want plan. For example, if I invest this money this year, what will happen to this maybe after 10 years? So AI started doing all the calculations. So AI gave me kind of a forecast of how my business my trend would be if I do in this particular way. So that is called autonomous AI. I think we are. I think we should know. Maybe we have started living in all these things right from 2010. So now we have something called autonomous AI. That is when it has become even more kind of what to say. Maybe a focused idea. Like okay, people started focusing on okay, what is this? How can something function on its own? Maybe ideas of these things came into existence. Fine. The reason why, okay, we all talk about AIs, how it's going to impact our workforce, workplace, and other things. Fine. Uh, but we all should not forget an idea that AI is not creating AI. It's not a kind of a natural existence. Human beings are responsible for something called artificial intelligence, right from internet to autonomous. Why? Because it is a natural instinct we all have. No, human beings always have a natural instinct that we have to create something more intelligent than man. If you go, I mean, maybe take all the religion. Maybe from a religious point of view, we created something called God because God is all powerful. Human beings cannot be all powerful, so we made gods all powerful. They can solve our problems. We all started talking our problems to gods. So right from that day, human beings have started creating something more intelligent or stronger than human beings. This is there in our blood. So one example of this is A. So A is created by human beings, which has kind of posing as a threat that will humans exist or only A. This threat has come into existence only after creation of A, which is by human beings. For example, if you take these two, I, don't know, I think most of us know these two write-ups like Frankenstein. It's a very old novel which came in 1818, very old, where they talk about bringing a dead man to life, giving him all kinds of powers, and you can charge the person can be charged like how we charge a mobile phone. The idea of this came into existence in 1818, which shows the human mind had the intention of creating something more powerful and more intelligent than human beings. This is where the problem. This is the reason why we are kind of experiencing AI today. Again, take for example this particular movie known. I think most of us have watched this movie, The Terminator, which came in 1994. This part 1984, I think 1984, The Terminator, 84, 94. I'm not very sure. I think 84 or 94. I'm not. Anyway, the idea of bringing a human being from the future into the present. Arnold Schwarzenegger in this particular thing, he's a Terminator. He'll come from the future into present. So which is humanly impossible. So we want to give this kind of intelligence to human beings. So our fiction had this, but our culture, religion, and fiction had this intention clearly shown to all of us. We human beings have the intention to create something more intelligent. So, which is a very interesting idea, and we'll see a lot of things being created in the future because this intention that we have in our bloods. We want to create something more intelligent than human beings. I'll respect only when something is more intelligent than me. So we all have fear for God. We all trust God because God is all powerful. That's how we created God. God is all powerful. God is omnipresent. I cannot be present everywhere, but God is omnipresent. So likewise, so our culture, religion, and our technology, science, our thinking has this idea kind of imbibed in us. So audience, please, I mean, take this idea. These are very interesting ideas. I want you people to grow on this. That becomes a very interesting, a large forming idea. Anyway, we'll move on. Okay, so he's a very interesting person. I don't know how many of you have read this particular book. So, moment I thought of, okay, I should know something about AI. I approached this particular person, Ethan Mollock. He's very, very interesting. He's very, again, these authors are very, very simple. They don't make concepts difficult at all. He talks about a beautiful idea called human AI coexistence and co-intelligence. Fine. For example, if you ask me, sir, is it dangerous to kind of have this kind of coexistence? Sir, is it dangerous to kind of coexist with AI? Of course, yes. So anything is dangerous. Do you think coexisting with human beings are dangerless? Is it not dangerous? What is happening between countries now? What is happening in Iraq? What is happening in other countries like Israel, kind of Palestine? So coexisting itself is dangerous because moment you want to coexist with anything, there are a lot of pleasant things and also a lot of dangers. But it doesn't mean that because of those dangers or those unpleasant things, we should stop coexisting. No, there are a lot of things happening across the globe. We see people are fighting people, people killing people. We are not able to peacefully coexist with people. People. It doesn't mean that we should not coexist. We cannot live as islands. No, we try to solve the problems that comes between coexistence. So likewise, if we decide to kind of be it in our work for or office or personal life or whatever, if you want to coexist with AI peacefully to mitigate all the dangers that are possible to happen, one beautiful thing that Ethan Mollick talks is co-intelligence. uh, Maybe this is a pretty interesting word he talks about. The book talks about co-intelligence. For example, if you take AI is nothing but it observes human intelligence and it organizes all of that. So AI is not creating. It is not creating any knowledge. It has the access of all the information in a click of a flap of a finger. So it's very fast. As we saw the difference, it's quick. So it has the power to kind of access all our brains and take our intelligence and give a kind of a unified intelligence to us. That is what is called co-intelligence. So human beings, okay, we need AA, and AA cannot function without human beings. That is what is called coexistence. And maybe in terms of intelligence, AA depends on human beings, and we depend on AA. So that's called co-intelligence. That's what Ethan Mollick talks about in the book called AA, The Future of Work. Again, I suggest this book. It's a little costly, but it's okay. It is worth buying the book. It's available on Amazon. You can buy the book. It's a little costly, but it's okay. Here he talks about the future of work. How will the idea of work change in the future? Maybe after maybe for example, take a decade or two after from today. How will the work look? How will the workplace look? He talks about all these ideas. Now, how AI will become the order of the day. Clear. When Google started giving us information, when I was in school and college, not school but college at least, I was kind of dependent on Google for information. Google was something great. Google was called God. That's a very interesting song. Google God. Very interesting song. But now AI. Now we have ChatGPT. So which is more powerful than Google, and it organizes information like in no time in a given format. You can also ask for formats. It gives formats, so it has become so very powerful. So how will the workplace look? How will the workplace transform? I want you people to please buy the book, or at least borrow the book, if possible steal the book and read this gives you a kind of, it clarifies your idea of what coexistence is, what co-intelligence is, what are the fears. It helps you to mitigate your fears and overcome fears. Any beautiful book that I would like to suggest. The second very interesting person I want all of you to focus is Kai Fu Lee. He worked for Apple, and he's a very, very interesting person, and he has given a lot of very interesting ideas. One very interesting idea that I would like to kind of discuss here, like what he says is, uh, we all think that AI is a superpower. AI is going to rule the world, and AI cannot rule the world. That's what the idea is. AI cannot rule the world without human existence. So he has proved it, and he's one person who says, okay, see, AI is something which is not as intelligent as human beings. So because only we can create knowledge, clear? Whereas AI can only optimize the knowledge that we create. In the initial stages of this presentation, I asked you to kind of keep the word optimization in your mind. The reason is this, clear? Only human created knowledge can be optimized by AI. I want to understand this idea very, very clearly. We human beings, we create knowledge. As knowledge is existing in different parts of the world, different across the globe. Knowledge is kind of spread. Clear? A is a kind of a platform which optimizes all the knowledge that we create. It is kind of one portal through which all the knowledge of the world comes in to us. So this is a kind of very important tool which we can use to optimize the knowledge that we have created. Yeah. So Kai Fu Lee, he invented this something called Grand A, which is popularly called now deep learning. If you ask a computer science teacher, they'll be in a position to tell us what does deep learning means. Deep learning is what AI is kind of doing currently, which means optimization. AI can only optimize; it cannot create. So this idea is clearly put forward by the. Uh, for example, take all our AI assistants. We'll take Siri. People who have iPhones, you'll have Siri. Siri can do only what you say. It can access to your information. Clear? So all these things are natural, not naturally. They are not natural existence. They're all man-made. For example, take Alexa, take ChatGPT, take Gamma, whatever. Take anything in any AI platform that exists. It is functionless if a human being doesn't go and kind of ask a question or give it a task. So AI can function only when human beings give a task to it. Clear? So human beings are indispensable from the face. Clear? That is what Kai Fu Lee very clearly says. Clear? That's very, very interesting. He talks about how to kind of use A as a agent to which we make our functions better. And they cannot create, I repeat, AIs cannot create, AI can only optimize what human beings create. So creation is our responsibility. For example, if we all have iPhones, we all have iPhones with us. It has a Siri component. It has Siri. Siri is one where you can ask your iPhone to function something, call something, write an email, open an application, all those things. I mean, who it is not maintained by any AI. There's a person called Mariana Lin. She works for Apple, and she's the one who's responsible for Siri. Siri, the department is handled by her. She decides, and she kind of does research across the globe, and she optimized that into Siri. Siri is something what you see, but it is also managed by a human being at the company's end. So this is a kind of a very clear, a legitimate thing that human beings can only create. AI can optimize what human beings have created. I think this is the message I would like to convey. Fine. This is something like what do you understand from this slide? Porsche is it's a kind of it's a luxury car. It's a world brand luxury car. They have two brands, 996 and 997. Very interesting. Kind of they have optimized 996 and they have made 997. But my intention is not to talk about this 996 and 997. Uh, this 996 and 997 is 9 from the morning, 9 till the evening, 6 days a week. So that's where we live in. We'll work from 9 to 9, 6 days a week. We get 1 day a break. And now slowly, uh, all this coming, corporates are making people work for 9 hours. I mean, 9 in the morning till 9 in the evening, 7 days a week. So I think where is emotional intelligence here? I think we this idea of conversion, making people work, has become a problem, perennial problem, and maybe perks are given to people who work 997. 996 are kind of seen as people who are normal people. Okay, they can be set aside. Okay, we can work. Okay, let them be in the company. That's it. And people who do this 997 are respected, which is again maybe when you kind of interpret this idea of 996 and 997 from what to say, maybe from emotional intelligence point of view, maybe that is where as teachers or leaders we'll have to be very careful about kind of the idea of human element should not be kind of rationalized. Kind of the human element is always emotional. We all are emotional beings. We are always emotional. That's how our brains respond. Our brains are designed to work emotionally and not rationally. Rational thing is that we force our brain to work. That's the reason we get all pressure, heart attack, and all those things. But if you let your brain work emotionally, okay, fine. Anyway, I just want to show you this. This 996 to 997 transition is happening across the globe now. So initially, teachers had 99, at least 955. We used to work from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the evening, and we got 2 days off. That is Saturday and Sunday. But now it is almost 996. 9 o'clock in the morning, and even after coming home, we work. We do research, we need to do some other work, other filing work, that work, this work, and we work till 9 and 6 days a week. Imagine what will happen to human beings, our humanness, our human sense, our human emotions if we work from 9 to 9 all 7 days. So anyway, so that's what is happening across the globe. I think I want to understand these areas. I think I've given you a lot of questions. You'll have a lot of questions, a lot of arguments, a lot of statement to disprove my ideas in your mind. I want that to happen. So we'll take up all those things during the discussion session. I think this will be my last slide. I don't have a kind of a picture for this because I couldn't get this idea in one particular place. This is when I just made this notes while listening to one of the talks by Kai Fuli. He says, okay, so what you see, I'll explain what is there on the slide. On the left hand side corner top, I've written optimization. The right hand side corner, I've written creativity. Fine. What kinds of jobs will be kind of disturbed by AI, and in what time frame? So this particular table shows that. For example, if you take the repetitive jobs like telesales, telecaller, customer support. For example, a dishwasher, a person who goes and washes this in a house. So these kinds of houses, I mean, where the job is repetition. For example, now you have machines to wash our dishes. So this kind of jobs will not survive for next 5 years. So A will optimize because these are optimization jobs. A will optimize, and these people who are involved in this need not work because A will automatically take over in 5 years' time. And next kind of job is called routine jobs. For example, take a truck driver, security guards. So these are the kind of routine job. They do only that. So these kinds of jobs in next 10 years will be kind of optimized by A, where I mean, according to Kai Fuli, there's no need of human intervention in these kinds of jobs. Trucks will drive itself. I mean, already we have this driverless cars. Trucks will drive itself. Let us not worry about driving it. It will drive on its own. Just tell what it has to do and where it has to go. Trucks will go on its own. AI will take care. Likewise, security guard. We have a person sitting there and guarding your thing, but AI will take care. So all these routine jobs. I've just given two examples there. These routine jobs will go for 6, maybe in 10 years time. The next thing is optimizing job. For example, a radiologist or a reporter, a research analyst. For example, a person who sees data, research data, and he interprets it, he analyzes it. So these kinds of job, which is optimizing job, because data collection is not optimizing, how you kind of analyze the data becomes an optimizing job. So such jobs will be kind of taken over by AI in 15 years time. That's what they say. Kai Fuli says. What are the jobs? No, the last two, the complex jobs and creative jobs. They are called creative. These two jobs are safe. These kinds of jobs are safe. For example, a CEO of a company is safe. Or an economist, a person who analyzes, for example, like Amartya Sen, a person who analyzes the economic happenings of a country or globally, who is an economic analyst. So their jobs are safe because AI cannot do that. AI can give you only data, it can only optimize existing data, it cannot create a data. And AI cannot think like a CEO. So these jobs are complex jobs which are safe, which AI cannot do anything as of now. The last thing is very interesting. Creative jobs. A person who writes for the columnist, a person who writes blogs, a person who ideates, or a scientist, very most importantly, scientist who's kind of trying to create something new, who's trying to find new solutions for problems, be it a social scientist or a science scientist or an engineering scientist, whatever it is. So their jobs cannot be replaced by AI. And most importantly, artists cannot be replaced by AI. They say art is something like it's an art. Maybe the artist himself will not know what will come on the canvas after 1 hour or 2 hours. Moment he dips his a brush in the paint, he himself will not know what is going to come on the canvas. Then how will AI know? So AI can give you some images. There are a lot of AI is existing now, which gives us a lot of images. That's a different story. But it is not painting, but it is kind of collating. It's kind of a collage, image collage we get. Whereas artists, clear? So the idea that I understood here is AI can only optimize, but cannot create. Clear? So there's a book called A 2041, 10 Visions of for the Future. It's really costly book. It is by Kai Fuli. I want you people to at least read it if it is there in some library. Very interesting ideas, Very, very strong ideas. Okay, now last question I would like to ask. Maybe I don't want this question to be answered. Or maybe this for us to kind of brood over and think. So in this list, 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, and safe, this list, where are teachers? What will happen to our jobs? Do colleges need teachers in the future? Or A will start teaching students? So for this particular question, I actually posted this question to one of the uh, well, thinker, and he very interestingly said, "See, Sam, uh, a teacher is a person kind of who's kind of omnipresent in all these areas. If a teacher is kind of giving information, explaining things, conducting exams, moderating exams, then definitely a teacher's job is not safe. Teacher's job will be replaced by A. Whereas if you define teacher as a person who creates, who comes into the class with new ideas, new methods, new ways of dealing people, and new ways of kind of culling out information from the students, new ways of assigning them tasks, new different tasks. So if this is going to be a teacher, A can never touch a teacher. A can always be a supplement in the class or in the process of teaching. It can only work for a teacher and it can never replace teachers. This is what kind of beautifully idea created by Kai Fuli. He's a stalwart. He's a person who is a research AI scientist, and he says a teacher's jobs are safe. If teacher is a person who creates, his job is safe, and AI cannot do anything. AI can always be the servant of such a teacher. But if a teacher is only a person who optimizes, who gets information, who kind of teaches something to students. Okay, if teaching, optimizing is only a job of a teacher, now those jobs will be definitely taken over by A. So with these ideas, I stop here. I'm done. So I want the audience to start now. I'll stop here. Um, I'll stop sharing my slides. Okay, so I request the audience to post questions. Organizers, I'm done. I'll check my WhatsApp for questions if there are any questions.
Dear participants, use question and answer for posting your questions. I request all the participants to use question and answer. Yes. So now it is working.
I don't see the question. I don't know why I don't see the questions here. Chat la.
It's after chat, sir.
No, my chat is. I don't find anything on my chat. I just
You
I'll
won't
post.
get. No, sir. The
Oh,
chat
Q&A.
box.
Oh, okay. Fine. I'm sorry.
It's
I
go.
am. Yeah. I'll click on the Q&A now. Even that's
Yes.
scrolling now. Just a minute.
And dear participants, please post your questions.
Oh, great. I got the questions now. That's a very interesting question. Let me go this way. The first question is by, of course, it's anonymous user. A can write blogs. Also now how this job is safe. Okay. Uh, for example, this is a very interesting question. Even I had the same question when I read that. So A writes blog. How do A writes blog? A blog is written by an A depending on human beings. For example, 10 people, for example, let us take teachers, 10 teachers in a room. 10 teachers have 10 different ideas. For example, we register ideas in the form of a book or a material or our blog somewhere in the website. The moment you ask the question, ask A to write a blog for you. The A searches the existing material, understands it, and gives you a comprehension of that, a summary of what is already existing. A cannot give you new. What you read is a different combination and not new. I think I've answered that question. So, for example, how do you know what I have in mind now? How do I know what you have in your mind now? When I write something in my blog, how do A know that beforehand? I mean that's why you should understand the difference between what is optimization and creating. So A is very good in kind of getting similar information from 1,000 people across the globe and give it to you as a small paragraph. That is what is called optimization. Of course, optimization, AI does it very well. When it comes to creation, only when 1,000 human beings outside the world, I mean, outside the context, creates information, AI can optimize it. So AI's optimization depends on human beings, what we create. I think I've answered that question. Second thing is, it was an excellent session, sir. Very well elaborated. Okay. How should teachers use AI for a better productivity? See, first thing is, I'm against telling our students not to use AI. For example, we have AI, and we are not supposed to stop our students using AI, because now the only way of using AI is not only doing assignments. How to, for example, okay, I'll tell you what I did in the class, what I do even now in the class. First phase of the assignment is I'll give them a question, a research question, or a new idea. So I want them to go across the AI platforms existing. I want them to go to all the AI platforms, get information about that particular idea. Clear? That idea. That is first phase. Second phase is I want my student to write his own perspective on the given idea. For example, take women empowerment. The moment you take women empowerment in any of the AI platforms, it gives you a lot of data, lot of information, lot of references. Fine. Don't ask a woman who's sitting next to you, what is women empowerment according to you? Maybe that lady or the girl will give you a better version of women empowerment. So I gave this kind of an assessment where initially they deal with AI information, and finally they compare that with existing human intervention sitting next to them. So a compare and contrast job. What was missing? So that maybe we should slowly try to incorporate AI as a supplementation in the class, or as Krashan rightly said. He talks about input hypothesis, where he talks about I plus one. What is that one? That one is something which is a kind of I is a comprehensible data which people can understand. That plus one is something which they have to go, they have to do a little bit to understand what the I is. That I is not a comprehensible data. Only when they, one is not the comprehensible data. Likewise, maybe if you can use AI as a supplement in the classroom, where it helps teachers or students to kind of navigate through and reach information. I think we need to use AI. I think this problem will be easily mitigated. Okay. Two questions I've answered. Any more questions?
Am I audible, Praveen Sam sir?
Yeah, Pushpan sir, tell me, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So that was a quite good presentation, and happy to be a participant. And I have a query here.
Please, sir. Please go on, sir.
With students with high emotional quotient, intelligent quotient level, for example, SSN students are capable of handling those chat GPT or AI tools such as. But whereas we are in a rural atmosphere where we have BA, BSc, BCom students, we are unable to get the assignment done first of all.
Okay.
And like they are from different age group and different economical background, different educational backgrounds, and it has become quite challenging for us. Day in and day out, we are struggling and we are fighting with them to get the things done, to make them understand, to make them attentive. Like at that point of time, like we are trying to implement some ChatGPT tools, and even for some, assignment topics, as you suggested, something we are giving for the level A students, what we call them, performers. So, do we have anything to say, sir, for us to go ahead with this?
I think, yeah, we have the same. See, SSN is a college where you get, of course, you have, but even here we have rural students, 7.5 scholarship students who come from rural background. See, this kind of heterogeneity is a kind of, it's visible, it's existing across the country. Heterogeneity is one of the major things we all are encountering from so many years back. We don't have people from similar background, socioeconomic conditions. But one thing what we are supposed to initially understand, sir, maybe it doesn't mean that be it ChatGPT or be it any other AI platform, to what extent we know that the students don't use them. Maybe as they don't submit assignments, it is not because they don't know how to use ChatGPT tools. Maybe the assignments they're not willing to submit. That is one thing. They're not motivated to submit. That's other thing. Those are different things. But I think we need to do a small study like how this AI platforms can be used. Second things, to what extent students are already using AI. So sometimes we all think that okay, I'm from a rural school, rural college. My students are not well versed with AI. Maybe that might be our assumption. Did we do some kind of a study to prove that yes, they are not clear with AI, or they are using AI? Only thing is they don't. We need to kind of customize their use into academic purposes. Definitely. I mean, I'll tell you, sir, because my experience goes like this. ChatGPT or any AI platform that is freely available is accessible across the globe, be it a rural college or a kind of a kind of a city college, wherever it is existing. Only thing is, if you have internet connection, students know how to learn themselves. I think you should refer to Sugata Mitra. I don't know how many of you have known about him. His name is Sugata Mitra, and he talks about the idea of hole in the wall. So I think that answers your question. Maybe he did this study in a remote village in Tamil Nadu called Kalikuppam. He has done a research there, and he has published papers saying that how the idea of self-learning, how people teach themselves. I think we teachers sometimes don't understand that. I think they know, sir. I think initially we should see. I don't know about the context that you're teaching. Maybe initially before giving them a task, I think it's our responsibility to kind of see what they already know in terms of anything, be it ChatGPT or anything. Is it right? Is their understanding of ChatGPT or using AI is right, or they're using it only to copy and paste? So maybe our activity should be framed like, okay, how to make them use the existing platforms logically or suiting the context. So that, I think that's the only solution, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vishwan, sir. That question. There are
Sir,
some more
there is
questions.
yes, sir.
Yes.
It's Lavanya, ma'am. She posted a question.
A lot of questions, yeah. What exactly is the question? Okay, how AI is related to emotional intelligence, sir? You mean that question?
No, sir.
That's a very interesting
Poems
question.
also created by OpenAI, like
how to download recent published papers, how to become safer, safer over AI. Okay, where is the question? I didn't get the. Can you read the question, please?
yes, sir. Poems are also created by OpenAI, like, but when given suitable prompts, poetry is something related to human emotions.
Good evening, Praveen, Sam. Great to hear from you. I'm Lavanya.
Hello, yes.
Yeah. I was not sure if you were allowed to ask the question. My only concern is I've been listening to all these the furor with which, jubilation with which even teachers are celebrating about AI, creating curriculum, creating text, creating answers, questions, everything. The funny part is this Bard, one AI, that also creates poems, stories, if you give prompts. Exactly. I thought earlier I was informed, very early, about 2 years ago, I was informed. AI is there to keep people free, to be more creative and give solutions. If AI is going to intrude into the emotional aspects of humans, it's going to create poems, express emotions, then what is human going to do afterwards?
No, exactly, ma'am. Lavani, ma'am, can I answer?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, this is actually the concern. I was talking about this coexistence. So the world is changing and we are supposed to coexist with this particular technology. I don't know how have you realized this. We have been doing this for past 60 years. We have been coexisting with technology and AI for 60 years. Only we have become little worried about that. Only it has become autonomous. All these times we were very happy having internet. We were very happy, for example, email. When we send emails like anything, did we think about what happened to a postman's job? Did you think about what happened to all these post offices? Post offices become a museum these days. No one goes there. Sometimes a haunted houses. It looks like we didn't think of it. Take any technology for that matter. Moment it comes, for example, take Uber. What happened to our local taxi wala? What happened to rickshaws? Do you find rickshaws on the road nowadays? We don't. Because we didn't think of it because the impact it made was very, very little, and only one particular aspect was missing. So it was okay. But now, moment it has become autonomous, it has started doing everything that we do, human beings. Then we have started create. Okay, this panic has created. Okay, what will happen to human emotions? For example, if ChatGPT can write a poem, but I think we should understand logic. Of course, writing poem is a kind of a universal right that we all have. Anybody can write poems. Why not? If ChatGPT writes a poem, we should appreciate it for that. No, it is not doing what you do. It is doing something what you ask it to do. You gave the prompt and it wrote a poem. What is wrong in that? Why should I think that okay, it is doing my job? No, no. ChatGPT. The moment you talk about coexisting and co-intelligence, ChatGPT can write poems. Of course, Bard can write poems. When you give prompts, it can give stories. Fine. It is not doing something what human beings cannot do. We also can write stories. We also can write poems. All these days, we have been appreciating poems written by poets. And we refuse to see ChatGPT or any technology as a poet. That's a problem. We want only human beings to be poets, not technology. So this is kind of, I mean, we are trying to accommodate technology. At the same, for example, take washing machines. The moment you get washing machines, maybe they said no, people who come home those days, people who come home take your dress, everything, they'll go wash and bring it back to you. It was kind of a profession people were involved in. But nowadays, what happened to their profession? Moment washing machines were invented, we didn't have any problem. Moment when kind of emotional things. See, that's why now maybe what I'm trying to tell you is, ma'am. See, I think moment you talk about coexistence, we should let AI do that, and maybe we can learn from that, or we can also teach AI behave in one particular way. So that is what is generative AI, which is coming into existence now, and people have started coming out. For example, if the difference between ChatGPT 3 and 4, if you can, 4 is paid. If you can see how it works,
Yes.
I think we understand this. That's why our human mind. No, we want only human beings. This is what this anthropocentrism is. We want human beings to be the center, and we want all other things around us work for us, and we can exploit. For example, take nature. What are we doing with our nature? Nature was given to us, and how are we exploiting it? Like how ChatGPT exploited teachers' knowledge, we are exploiting the nature around us. So we are not worried about this because we are safe. When it comes to someone else doing my job better, and we have a problem, I think we should start learning from it and teach it what it's supposed to do and what it's not supposed to do. That's what generative AI is all about. Lavanya, I don't know if I'm convincing, but this is what I believe. I just shared what I believe with you.
I'm not against technology, using technology. We have to adapt, and I do adapt them. In fact, it gives me a lot of kick when students write directly some submit assignments from ChatGPT. I can identify and pull them up for it and ask them questions. I do it. I'm not against it. And sometimes gamification also helps. This is the Gen Z. We have to do it. I agree. But what I'm saying is, all this time, when we talk about Uber or washing machine or anything, it is to not have people, like you said, they have to only wash, these have to only clean. So we are doing away that menial jobs and give them, free them up with all this and open up avenues for them to upcoming and all. And finally, when it is going to be more intelligent than man, let's see what's going to happen. Whether it turns out the Frankenstein.
Try to understand this very clearly. ChatGPT, I mean, when I say ChatGPT, I'm kind of holistically referring to AI. So AI cannot be more intelligent than human beings. Try to understand. We should be very clear, ma'am. It cannot grow because, see, when I didn't get you.
Somebody, I think, got
some Telugu is coming up. No, anyway, see, human. I mean, all the experts. That's why that's the reason why I brought all those experts on the screen. So they all very, very clearly say that human. I mean, AI cannot be super intelligent than human beings because AI depends on human intelligence to become intelligent. So it can always learn from us, and it can never overtake us in terms of intelligence. Maybe it can optimize intelligence. Optimization, for example, you can read one book a month. Maybe AI can read 10 books, but all the 10 books are done by human beings, right? So optimization is possible, whereas intelligence creation is done only by human beings. It's proved actually.
Sorry for extending. One last maybe
Please, ma'am,
remark
please.
or one cheeky question. Well, we glorify all this. Let's look at a little step back. Your generation or my generation for that matter, we know that multiplication tables by the tips of our fingers and we remember phone numbers. The memory was good, cognitive ability was good. Now look at the present generation. They cannot calculate without a calculator. They cannot do things. The cognitive level has come down there. What are you talking
No,
about
ma'am, I
intelligence?
think, no,
That's the worry.
exactly. That's a very good question. Beautiful question you've asked, ma'am. Here, the cognitive level are not reduced, but it is kind of shared. For example, why should I calculate if that is done by something else? I'm supposed to be doing something better than calculation. Yeah, why should I remember phone numbers when something remembers for me? I should do something else.
Exactly.
So now we have to understand that. Okay, see, I need that is what remembering a phone number is a menial job. So why should I do that? When
That's
technology is
fine.
doing
We stop. See, there are people with great memories and all this. Now everything is being done available. We were happy with it. Even I was happy. I don't have to calculate and all that. Fine. But now, when you ask them how will you calculate this, they can't even think of it. Simple calculations.
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. See, when I ask the students to calculate, if they use a calculator, that is what cognition is. My student knows how to get this done soon. Maybe instead of taking a sheet of paper, writing all the values and counting it. My child is depending on existing technology, which is open. Even in the examinations also, you can use calculator. Why do they give calculator in the examination? Because calculation is not my headache anymore. It is done. Likewise, for example, now organizing my computer is being organized by an AI. I've given an AI, it organizes my computer, it keeps my files wherever I want, it retrieves files for me. So that is not my job. My job is to do all other cognition like doing an advanced work, not setting my files. So initially, of course, we were doing all those things. For example, a woman in the morning, she wakes up, she does everything in the home and takes care of, even now, these things will not change, certain things. A man, okay, this man-woman general things will not change. What I'm trying to tell you is certain things, what is replaced is not pushed or pulled out of us. It is giving us an opportunity to, as you rightly mentioned, giving us an opportunity to do something better than that.
I agree. Thank you.
Madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
At the canteen she went from this side. After that, I see this.
Is it a question or I think someone is talking from the background?
Madam, batch.
Srinivasa Kumar Kotti.
Master.
Yes. Any other questions, ma'am? Organizers, any other question?
Dear participant, please mute your mics. So, dear participant.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Good evening. Is it Srinivasa Kumar?
No, sir. Santosh from Anit College, Visakhapatnam, sir.
Yes, Santosh, go on.
Sir, my doubt is, sir, now, till now, a conversation happened between you and some other madam, sir.
Madam, tell me. Yes.
A question has been raised for me, sir. Sir, actually, AI can optimize only, but human beings can create. What human beings create will be optimized by AI, sir. Sir,
last part of it, what human beings create will be optimized by AI.
Yes, sir. AI can optimize only, it cannot create.
It cannot create, yes, exactly.
By mere optimizing, with the help of mere optimization, it is creating this kind of different. What about
I'm not able to listen. I think a lot of background noise. Someone is disturbing. I want people to please be on mute.
Actually, disturbance is not from my side, sir.
Lot of background noise, and I'm not able to get your idea.
Disable audio and again enable.
Yeah. Now it's clear. Go on, Santosh.
Sure, sir. Sir, by mere optimizing, the power of optimizing, AI is creating this kind of difference, sir. What if it can create, sir? This is what the doubt arises.
What is there to create, is it?
Yes, sir.
See, for example, here, it's a very good question, Santosh, in the first place. See, I said, well, that's why I mean, I was very clear about what do you mean by optimizing? Optimizing is kind of using something to the full. For example, when I have certain capacity, I use it for the full. Uh, Only when I create, what see, I should feed something to the AI to to optimize. I should ask AI to do certain things. I should give AI a chance. Maybe I should feed something into it. What do I feed? What I feed is what I created, and what it does is what optimize. For example, sometimes we use AI to write emails for us. We give them a context. Write an email to this particular office, asking for this particular thing. Maybe last time when I asked, they didn't give a proper answer. This time I want a proper answer. The values of this is this, all these things. I give all the information to, for example, ChatGPT. It writes an email for me. That email is an example of optimization because it is given a format to my request. That is what optimization is. But AI can write only whatever information I have given as an input. So if you read the email, the input what I've given in a general instruction format has been optimized by AI in a requested format. I wanted to write an email, or if I ask you to write a complaint letter, or if I ask you to write an essay, or ask ma'am sir write a poem, maybe all these instructions are my inputs. For example, I give ideas. This idea is given in a format. You get the point. Maybe if you ask, okay, if you ask ChatGPT what is optimization, definitely ChatGPT is going to give you an answer. So where did the answer come from? Many people, many human beings have already defined defined optimization in different sources, be it a book or journal paper or blogs or e-materials or whatever. So what AI does is it goes to all the sources, refers to that, and give you a customized answer. So that is what exactly optimization is all about. Instead of I going reading all 10 books and get a kind of refined answer, ChatGPT is doing it. But the information, the knowledge on what is optimization is created by human beings elsewhere, and I don't know what that is. So this is like an optimizing postman which goes to all the places, collects information, optimizes it, and bring it to me. So here AI is only a postman who brings information from different sources to me. This is one source. For example, I know, but I want AI to work for me. So I know how to write an email. I know what the context is. I know what I want to write. I ask AI to do. So information is given by me. AI is optimizing it into in a format. So formatting is all about. You get the point, Santosh? This is what I mean by optimizing. So
Sure, yeah.
AI needs information which is created by human beings to optimize. If there's no information, AI cannot create anything. For example, if human beings perish from the world, what will AI create? AI will be kind of stuck with what is created as of that date. It cannot create beyond that. Clear. So initially, when ChatGPT came into existence, it was able to give us information only till 2020. How many of you remember this? When you ask any question, it can give answer up to 2020 because it had only information, access to information 2020. So beyond 2021, 22, 23, it didn't have any information. So it was not able to give us anything. So the disclaimer clearly says the questions that you ask, the answers that ChatGPT gives is, depend on the content which is on the web from, till or up to 2020. This is a disclaimer given by ChatGPT, which is very clear that ChatGPT can refer to other existing human created knowledge to give you information. That's it. This is what I call optimization. Santosh, did I answer your question?
Okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah, please. May I know who's this?
This is Mary Stella. Mary Stella from
Yes, yes.
College.
Yeah, please, please go on.
See, actually, you have been telling that artificial intelligence is only for optimization.
Exactly.
And humans are meant for creation.
Yeah.
So if we want anything related to any particular letter, when we depend on this one AI, we will get the answer. Okay,
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But when we come to terms of the student, if he asks that I want a letter regarding the casual leave, suppose it is casual leave. So he asks artificial intelligence, AI, and he gets the answer. But where is the place for learning, sir, for the student?
Exactly, ma'am. See, when you see from the student's point of view, maybe they see AI as an easy solution for their problems. When you give questions, so they go and ask AI, whatever AI gives, they submit it to us. That's why it depends on how, see, this is how See, for example, take our school days. For example, I'm 42 years old. Take my school day. When I was in school, my teacher used to teach something in the class, give a homework. I go home, take a class or notebook. I refer to what my teacher taught in the class. I do the homework, and next day I go and submit. It will be evaluated by my teacher. This is a model which is at least 40 years old from my perspective. Even now, we do the same thing in the class, right? We teach something, we give them an assignment, they do assignment and submit, and we evaluate that. But those days, we didn't have anything. We had only the teacher's information and the classroom notebook and a textbook. That's it. So we depend on only those existing resources to write an answer and submit. But today, between the teacher's assignment and the student, there are so many platforms. We had Google first. Maybe 2 decades ago, we had Google. They used to copy paste the question on the Google. Whatever Google gave, they wrote and submitted, right? The same problem is now it is more optimized. So ChatGPT is more optimized compared to Google. So it is doing it in a very, see, the learning here is, for example, how you design the task. Yeah. So give them a task like, okay, this is what the question is. So answer this question, and tomorrow come to the class and come in front of the class and present your answer to the students. You should make a small presentation on your answer. Abdina, they'll go to the ChatGPT or whatever, they'll get the content, they'll rewrite it, and they'll read it. They'll read, understand, and convert that into a presentation. And in the class, their submission is not what they've written in a text, but their presentation. So to present something, they have to read what they downloaded, right? So when they read, they learn, and they channel convert whatever they read and learn. They have to present in the class. So they try to make notes out of it. In the class, they come and make a presentation. So in this case, don't you think they're learning, ma'am?
They are learning, sir, but the teachers' work is being lessened
What do you think, ma'am?
by
Because you
using
teach.
this.
What is
Teachers' duty is getting lessened. It's
ma'am?
getting very very less
How? You
because
teach in the class. You
the
teach in the
teacher is
class.
giving instruction to the student, and the
Okay.
student is taking the help of AI, and
Okay.
he is doing something with the help of AI.
Okay.
And what is the teacher's role, sir? Only in directing
So
the student, right?
do you think AI is teaching him? The classroom, you are there, teacher, students are there, you teach him. For doing a task, he is taking the help of AI. What is wrong with that? For example, I used to give this activity in the class first. I'll give some 5 new words that has come in. I'll ask students to go find the meaning and bring the meaning to the class. But they go home, they refer to a dictionary, or they'll talk to some people who know about that, and they learn those 5 words. They come and submit the assignment. Sometimes people might copy from each other. So next thing what I do is, maybe I'll ask them to come on the stage, write a sentence of their own using that word. So only when they know the meaning of that word, they can write a sentence. So here, dictionary is a source. So when dictionary is there, what is the use of a teacher? Can you ask this, ma'am? Because they refer to a dictionary. But in the class, they came and wrote a sentence of their own. People who cannot do that have just referred blindly to a dictionary. A person who can come and write a sentence using the same word has learned the word. Be it ChatGPT or dictionary or a book or a person, what's the difference it makes? But ultimately, you have given them the question. Those 5 words are given by you. You are the teacher who taught them that. Maybe while they do some work, they refer to ChatGPT. Again, if the submission is going to be a piece of paper, of course, what do you say? Maybe our job is it's a question mark. But if the submission is not submission should be a surprise. Only when they come to the class, they should know what should they submit about the homework. It's not a printed sheet or written sheet. It should be something else. They should perform. That is what flipped classroom is all about. That is how creative we are in making them do. Because I know definitely that ChatGPT will be accessed by every student for every assignment of mine. But they never know when they come to class what will sir ask. I'll never ask them to submit a piece of paper. I'll go with a different task to class where only if they have understood what they learn, they can do the task. ChatGPT will be only source of information like a dictionary during our days. We are only dictionary. Now they have ChatGPT. That's it.
Yes,
You
sir.
get the point, ma'am.
Yes,
I think
sir.
we should be more.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yes,
What I
ma'am.
want to
Still, there is a doubt.
actually, I'm also using this one Chat GPT and everything, sir. I'm getting benefited so much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you didn't catch my point. Teachers' work is being getting less. Then in the future, what will be the role of the teacher? Very less number of teachers will be there in schools and in colleges.
No.
Did you catch my point,
no,
sir?
I got your point now. I thought, okay. See, you mean to say that when
Yeah.
ChatGPT does, teachers will be jobless. You mean that?
Sir, if you permit me, can I interfere, sir? I mean, the madam's point actually. I'm Dr. Anita, sir, from
Yeah,
MITS.
Please go on, ma'am.
Sir, actually, what madam wanted to ask, even I have the same question. Now, AI is good, I do accept because of the technical advancement, and we can consider it as a dictionary also. But how do we segregate the students? The student who belong to first category, that is outstanding. Second category, average, and the below average. If we could segregate below average students only, then only the teacher gets the time to motivate them or counsel them or make them ready for the syllabus or the course. But how about if each and every student takes the help of AI? We cannot segregate the student who is good or who is bad. Everybody gets the same thing. So where is the role of a facilitator? It's not like jobless. It may be the job satisfaction.
Yeah, you're right, ma'am. See, you're 100% right by saying this, because if your objective is to kind of see who needs kind of help, maybe for example, a person who's very good, he uses ChatGPT, it's okay. Maybe a person who is not good, he has to learn and then use, but he's also using ChatGPT. You don't find any difference between them. You mean this, right?
Right, sir.
Exactly, ma'am. This is actually a problem. I mean, again, see, your intention is to for example, a student who's not able to perform well, he's also using ChatGPT. For example, you in a diagnostic test you give, ma'am, maybe give a small test in the class. Do you think everyone performs the same way?
No, sir.
No,
they don't perform it, sir, but we don't have any time nowadays because of the syllabus or the time constraint to go for diagnostics test and all. I'll tell you, sir, what is the immediate problem of it. When we don't segregate the average or below average student, each and every student passes BTech. But how far he uses his BTech certificate in his livelihood? There, as a faculty, we failed, right? We are not making them industry ready.
No, I understand, ma'am. Ma'am, to be very frank with you, unless you teach them how to kind of incorporate technology that's existing, I don't think we are still making them industry ready. Maybe making them not use ChatGPT alone is not going to make them industry ready, right? Because industries itself, they are using ChatGPT. ChatGPT are becoming co-authors with people. I mean, it has become a part and parcel of life. So if you stop the person from using ChatGPT, are we making them industry ready? I don't think so.
Already challenge is there. That challenge is already there. But this AI is making more handicap the faculty's role, the facilitator's role. We are producing the engineers who are not at all fit.
Okay, man. Anyway, maybe if you feel so, I don't want to kind of totally be. I don't want to play a devil's advocate here, but maybe see, we have as teachers, we are teaching our students how to live through their lives, right? I think as teachers, we should teach ourselves when all this technology come into place and it's given free of cost, and there's no hard and fast rule or government rule that you're not supposed to. They didn't ban ChatGPT in our country, which means students can use. I think we teachers will have to move to the next level, and maybe we should find some kind of methodology to do this. Because what I'm trying to tell you, ma'am, I face the same problem, but I don't see this as a problem but an opportunity, because I am very sure that in some year, maybe in few years time, definitely all these things are going to be predominantly present everywhere. AI is going to do many of our jobs. There's no doubt about it. But how to navigate through that? It doesn't mean that when a person is given a task which he can refer to a chat GPT and submit. Now the problem is not with chat GPT or the students. It's the problem with the activity. The activity is very, very weak that anybody can go do the same thing and submit. But I think we need to focus on giving them activities which will not kind of lend itself or bend itself to be used or done using AI. Can we give? I mean, as teachers, we are supposed to teach. I mean, think of those areas. No, how to kind of make my activity, which is kind of free of chat GPT use or AI use or whatever. I think that should be our focus. Maybe if you say, okay, if you keep saying that, okay, it's going to be a problem, of course, this problem is going to be intensified serious in the future. I think we teachers will have to help ourselves, teach ourselves how to create activities, how to make a amend our teaching or change our teaching so that ChatGPT will be always a supplementary tool and not a kind of a tool which will overtake us. I think that's the reality. We are supposed to live with the reality. And in every country, ma'am, every country, see, for example, Twitter, Instagram, many countries have banned Instagram, many countries have banned all those things. But do you think can you give me one country which has banned ChatGPT? Not even one country, because they see this AI as a kind of a development tool. The country can grow higher, or I mean, it's seen as a kind of a development tool which people use to understand, learn things like that. That's how feedback comes across the globe. So there is nothing which says that okay, ChatGPT only teachers. No, we have a problem. This is a very simple problem we have. We are not able to control our students using ChatGPT for submitting assignments. This is the only problem we have. If we can mitigate this, if we can change our activity pattern, which will keep ChatGPT away, then we have the problem is not existing for us. Let's not worry about ChatGPT. If this is going to be our only problem, so then you can make based on the performance, you can segregate students or can see the fast learner, slow learner, and all those things can be is possible. But the reality is we cannot stop technology happening to us, and if we keep resisting it, then that's going to be a problem. So what I believe is, okay, instead of resisting it, let us try to coexist with us and try to make this technology a supplement to me, not a replacement. That's my only humble
Right,
suggestion.
right, sir. Thank you,
Well,
sir.
sorry for the interruption.
Good evening,
Sir, sorry for the interruption.
Sorry for.
Can I have a point to madam's question?
Yeah, please, sir. I know who's
Sir,
I know who's
I'm
this.
Pushpanathan again.
Yeah, Pushpa,
Madam was asking about chat
Okay.
GPT and all. But what is my view of chat GPT is that when you are in Roman, be a Roman in the Rome. People used to say that. When technology is ruling us, we teachers, in order to save our times, in those days, people will be sitting at home for hours to prepare a lesson plan and worksheet and all. In these days, everything is available online by means of AI technology. I'm not talking about ChatGPT alone. Even visiting libraries, taking reviews for literature, a review for PhD scholars and all. In these days, Elicit is there, Dimension is there, and what is the role of the teacher here is that let them learn the chat GPT, not only chat GPT, let me say in broader sense, GPT tools in general or AI tools in general, what best can be elicited from AI tools, that the teacher learn it by means of undergoing a lot of workshops, and let the students be aware of what is there in front of him. Let it be challenges, let him overcome it by learning it. But students are becoming addicted to, as you said rightly, Instagram and other tools. Let them learn through chat gpt or and other gpt tools. But what my point here is that if the teachers don't bring AI tool into the classroom as a part of teaching or as part of assessment or anything, and there won't be change happen in the classroom. As madam asked some question regarding how can she segregate the students and all. Let me have a point here. Let her segregate the students from A, B, C, D and all. Let A be learning his own self. You just give them links or something like that. And you just make peer learning or peer tutoring will happen in the classroom. A will take care of D. In these days, learning is rest with the learning is the responsibility of the learners by now, because self learning happens and everybody started learning by their own self after COVID, because everything is available online. But even now, people are, interested to be spoon fed. Those students, they'll be sitting in the last bench still, and they have to see the, uprunners using ChatGPT who are achieving things, and they have to see things right happening in front of their eyes, and they have to adopt ChatGPT tools and all if they want to get placement and all. As you said, GPT presentation, people in these days, my classrooms, when I give assignments, engineering classes, people don't go to Microsoft PowerPoint and all in these days. They will get immediately go to ChatGPT and get presentations. Not only that, sir, even Google Form they are creating using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
From
So
the students,
what is wrong in doing it? My question is, what is
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
in doing it? It's very good
From
actually.
students, and I go to class with this mindset. I know this. If I don't know that, I will tell the students. I am learning many things from students in these days. So I never underestimate students that chat GPT. Definitely technology will not going to replace teachers. But what is more important here is that how effectively we are going to give prompt to the chat GPT and get answers from it. That is the thing, sir. Challenge only.
I'll add one thing, sir, because it'll be apt adding it here. As Pushpan sir rightly mentioned, I would like to say this. See, AI cannot replace teachers, but AI will definitely replace teachers who don't know AI. I repeat, AI cannot replace teachers, but AI will definitely replace teachers who don't know AI.
You're right.
That's what the conclusion is. Thank you, Pushpan sir, for that explanation. It was good. And Mami, I think I don't know who asked this question. I forgot the name. Madam, see, there's something called students as partners, SAP. I wanted to go and read about that because you said you have problem in segregating students, right? There's a theory called students as partners. So that theory talks about how to kind of use students instead of segregating them. We should collaborate. We should make collaborations among them. So we should not segregate. Personally speaking, I'm against segregating students. Initially identify, okay, who are fast learners, quick learners, and different things. I think our job is to kind of make them collaborate. So sir rightly mentioned used the word peer learning. This collaborative learning will solve that issue. I think slowly a slow learner will become a kind of an average learner by being with a fast learner. So that kind of a collaboration, that group activities, collaborative activities will always help you to kind of, why should you segregate? Of course, initially to know we can segregate, and then to kind of make them better, I think we should put them in what is the point in keeping all the slow learners in one place? There's no point because there's no peer to refer. Just mix them logically. So definitely a slow learner will become average and average to fast learner. I think that's the way. It's a very old idea. Even NS Prabhu spoke about that in his pedagogy. He talks about this pedagogy, collaborative pedagogy. And recently there's a theory called students as partner. So teachers can partner students and students can partner with teacher in classrooms where you have heterogeneity. I mean, as a problem, maybe as a situation. Anyway, all these.
Sir, I just have one question, sir.
Who's this?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. I'm Suchishmita Panda. I'm Dr. Suchishmita Panda.
Yeah, hello, ma'am. Tell me, ma'am.
So it was truly a very enriching session. Just I have one query. Like as you have
Please,
mentioned about the chat GPT and all that we should promote that thing, or very nicely mentioned ki yes, in this present era when AI is like approaching everywhere, we cannot deny them. Instead of that, we have to accept it, and at the same time we have to make our students or learners that both the things we have to implement. My one query I have, like how we can motivate students to read more books, like as you have mentioned for the presentation also. Like being a teacher, what I have observed in my classes, like when we are asking students for giving presentation or like seminar, and we are providing a topic maybe different from the which AI cannot generate. In that case also, it makes us
very good,
hard
ma'am.
that
Actually,
they are getting the presentation means ready-made presentation with the help of AI. So my concern is that, like, if I would like to motivate my students, yes, you can take the help of AI. At the same time, some books also, and how we
yes,
can
ma'am.
motivate
I'll
them.
tell you something. I think we need to start from the scratch. It's a very good question indeed. Can others please mute? I think there's something come. Okay, thank you. So it's a very good question. Like how to promote reading amidst all this technology disturbance. There are a lot of things to see, watch, but reading is deteriorating. This is a common problem we also face. The ELTA has India Reads program, right? We have the major problem is we are not able to make students read. See, I think we should make this thing very clear. See, we have LSRW. So how do you classify this? So reading and listening are two input skills or receptive skills, and writing and speaking are two output skills. So we learn by reading and listening. We kind of express by speaking and writing. So here, speaking and listening are kind of natural skills. We need not teach any children how to listen because they live in an atmosphere where there are a lot of things to listen. At the same time, they speak a lot. They listen to people and they replicate, and a child speaks. So speaking and listening are natural skills, whereas reading and writing are nurtured skills. And automatically a child will not become a reader and writer, but a child can become a listener and speaker. For example, there are many students who can speak the language, who can listen to the language, they cannot read and write. We call them illiterates or partially illiterates, right? So we should tell them how the skills function cognitively in a person. For example, to learn something, for example, I listen to a TED talk or I listen to someone who's talking to me. Maybe it's very effective because I listen to people. I get the point. But the problem is retention is a problem. Retention is not happening, or retention is not as effective as the content is read from a book. Reading enhances retention. Listening enhances information. For example, when I listen to something, I get some information. To retain that for a longer period of time, I have to read. So reading is a skill which helps them to retain information. Listening is a skill which helps them to get information. Avladhan. So they get information by reading, they retain it. So if their objective is, for example, there are certain information, just listen, that's enough. For example, I did not retain what happened in one particular cricket match and who scored the more runs and other things. I just want to know for a shorter period of time. I not go and read those materials. For example, there are certain things which I have to retain all my life. So such material should be read and not listened to. Likewise, when you write and speak, sir, my students are able to write well but not speak. Or my students are speaking well, they are not writing well. The problem is we just introduce writing and speaking as discourse skills. But speaking is a natural skill. They can speak, like when you put them in a context, automatically people start speaking. For example, when I come and stay in Andhra for almost a year, I'll start speaking Telugu. Telugu will not be a problem for me. Can I write Telugu? Can I produce literature out of Telugu? That is not possible because my functional use is to understand and respond. That will happen. That's a basic thing. Whereas when it is writing, it is intense. It is cognition. It is phonics, cognition. A lot of things involved. So I think we should kind of segregate these four skills and tell our students how these four skills kind of play in the context of communication. We just say input and output skills, but reading is not a natural skill. Likewise, writing is not a natural skill. Whereas speaking and listening are natural skills. Don't ask them not to confuse between natural skills and nurtured skills. Only when you use this nurtured skill, we retain information. Only by writing and reading, we retain information. By speaking and listening, we get information. I think this is the distinction we are supposed to make it very clear and use this theory in all our activities they do in the class. I think that's a problem even I face, and I'm able to come out of the problem by doing this in the class, ma'am. Exactly, I had the same problem. Reading, students are not able to read, but now the good thing what's happened in my class is they bring material to class. Sir, today we'll discuss this, but I read this newspaper article, I read this particular magazine, very interesting. We'll use this as in the reading session. So they bring that to the class. Today a child brought, student brought about childhood memories. That was a kind of a very interesting article written in the recent Times of India. So he has brought that thing to the class, and we use that as a reading material today. Before the session start, I was using that in the class. So which means I think this distinction will help them once it's like an addiction, ma'am. Initially, when you make them read, it will be very difficult. Moment they get the kind of the taste of reading, they'll definitely. It's very difficult for you to bring them out of reading. It's an addiction thing. But of course, not easy. But I made it look very easy. But it takes its own sweet time. But this is an effective way. Definitely, it helps. Ma'am, I think I partially answered your question. I don't know, did I kind of sound intelligible, but I tried to tell you what I did in the class. That's it. There's no noise. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think you're muted all of them. Okay, that's why they're not able to speak. Okay.
Sir, my name is Miki, and I want to know, sir, what kind of group activity can we do based on language department? Because in language is mostly about telling stories, and students who are in graduate level, they used to get bored a lot easily, and whenever I give assignment to them, they used to rely on ChatGPT only. Even I told them that you cannot 100% copy from this ChatGPT. You need to bring out your own idea by taking help from the ChatGPT. But student, I feel that they are not putting efforts. They just want to do a shortcut kind of trick, which is nowadays most of the students are relying because of the technology. So, what kind of activity can I do?
No, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll give you one example of an activity what I do in the class now. I mean, I'm doing it currently. So that activity is coming. It is based on a module presentation. So what I do is I put five people in a group. Every group will have five students. So what they do is they go. I mean, I didn't give them topics also. They'll have to choose their own topic, come out with a module. The module should have a pre-reading task. For example, they'll design a pre-reading task and then a reading task. They'll write materials and bring it to us. Let it be a chat GPT mail, no issues. Material and then post-reading task. So they'll come on the stage. So each one person will introduce the topic, the other person will kind of ask us a lot of questions just to set a mind about what we are going to read. There'll be a lot of questions on what I'm going to, the text, what I'm going to read. So before I read the text, the children ask a lot of questions. The class will be interactive. They all will try to answer those questions and they'll ask a lot of questions. There'll be inter questions. And then after a while, they'll give us the material. They'll forward the material in the WhatsApp group or they'll project the material on the screen. So the entire class will read the material. They'll give some maximum 10 minutes time to read the entire material. And then there'll be some post-reading task. So based on the material, what they projected in the class, there'll be a lot of questions. And again, there'll be a lot of interaction. People will come out with their idea. And some of them will come out with some point which is not good in the passage. Or they'll try to add some more information to a given passage. And some people will have a different opinion. So they'll do all those things. No, maybe the objective is, see, for every task we need to have an objective. The objective is, of course, see, whatever assignment I'm going to give, definitely they're going to use ChatGPT or any other AI platform. It's fine. So here they would have depended on at least from five and different sources, and they have come out with a reading passage. That is one. And before that, they do a lot of activity in the class. They do pre-reading task and while reading task, and then finally they ask questions. That's scope of, see, there are a lot of things happening. Initially they listen, they speak, people listen, and again they ask question, people answer. So there's a kind of a give and take happens, and the material what they brought from ChatGPT is kind of vetted by everyone in the class, and they all discuss about that, and that becomes some material for discussion. I think that will be a kind of interesting information. I think I don't know if this is what I do in the class. It's working out. I see people improving their language. I see people kind of they slowly started writing their own material. They don't depend on ChatGPT. Of course, they depend, but not to the large extent. They get information, they rewrite it, suiting their information, and they bring to the class. That's also happening, man. So I think we teachers will have to focus more on how to be creative in terms of giving them tasks. I think we should elevate ourselves from a general task to a more specific task, and the objective should be like our students in course of doing this task should not use ChatGPT 100%. There can be some 30% use of AI. Remaining 70% they should do. And the Madi, we should have some objective and define tasks based on that. I think teachers in the department, we should collaborate, man. We should put our heads together and take ideas from all of us, and we should get activities done. That's what we do in the department. There are people here, and what we do is we sit and discuss. At least every Saturday, it's working only for. I mean, alternate Saturdays are working for teachers and not for students. So what we do is we on that day we sit and take all the problems we face in the class. We try to create activities, and all the teachers will have different activities. So we'll put them together and we see. For example, I have one activity. There are 6 people in the department. They all have different activities. So we discuss, and I'll have 6 activities. So all of us will have 6 different activities. So which will definitely kind of at least elevate them to not use ChatGPT at least some 30-40%. Definitely. So that's how we are supposed to improve. Unless we learn how to kind of mitigate this AI issue in the class, it is not by it is by using an injection to solve a disease. Injection is going to be painful, no other go. But the disease, if at all you want to get out of the disease, injection becomes mandatory. Likewise, see, ChatGPT or AI is going to become the order of the day tomorrow. So today there will be issues. So slowly we should know how to mitigate it, and kind of we should always keep AI as a servant in the class or supplementation in the class. It should do what I say, and I'm not supposed to do what it says. I think that's my mindset now. I don't know if I answered well, but this is what I feel, man.
Then I want to know from where to get this kind of new innovative idea to conduct activity, and from where you used to get idea. I mean, from which source and all, so that we can also go
journals, ma'am. Read journals. Read journals. There's a journal called Reading Psychology. Read journals. There are journals for activities. So where they present their activities. They teach us how to create activities. I mean, it's a research paper. What I mean, we also get a case study like what happened in the classroom if they use that particular activity. So maybe based on that, I mean, I depend on journals. I'm an avid reader of journals. I get all these ideas from journals.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I just wanted to say thank you very much. Wonderful session. Lavanya here. Uh, using AI, having said about worms and all, I was just adding to the usual furor and everything, insecurities of young teachers. But what I found was in a big classrooms that Indians have, the large classrooms, AI actually helps you to generate more individual assignments to attend to the different learning styles of the students. And like you said, they come out with more information, and you can they can make them for some time feel the master of the class, and they actually come out well. I've noticed, just wanted to share, the more quiet ones come out with brilliant ideas.
Okay.
The ones who are not talkative and more participative, actually, you can draw them from their shells because they are the silent ones who work. And ChatGPT is actually bringing out, AI is actually bringing out the good in them. Thank you very much.
But thank you so much, man. That was good. I mean, ideas. No, maybe we have different kinds of learners. We all somehow blindly believe that when a person talks a lot, he's a good learner. He's a good at communication, other things. But a lot of quieter ones who are better than the person who's communicating. Only thing is, their kind of expression is different. So they express in a different way. I have a girl. Her name is Surabhi in the class. She's very quiet in the class. She never opens up. When I ask, of course, she talks. Otherwise, she listens to me in the evening. No, she makes it a point that she talks to me for 15 minutes. Exactly. She asked the time. She'll call around 6:30 to 6:45. She'll be traveling back home. She's talked to me over phones, and she has wonderful idea. Her language is very good, and she has whatever she had to ask in the class. She used to kind of ask over the phone. So what I did, I mean, initially I was just kind of motivating her to talk, and then slowly I gave her a task. Okay, we have a lot of you have a lot of ideas. In the evening, after our discussion, after we talk over phone, try to use this recording facility in the WhatsApp. We have a class group. Just present the idea in a simple way to our class students. So maybe, so if you do that, so she is not able to kind of do that every day, but at least twice a week, she records her ideas and she posts it in the class group. So that has become a practice. Seeing her, some others, no, maybe they also started doing the same thing, and now those students, 10, 15 people, they have created a separate group, and they are added me also, and this happens every day. So in that group, they have a lot of discussions, a lot of voice files. Sometimes I use some of them as a listening component in my lab also. So that's how. So when you let them, when you be creative in giving them ideas and kind of making them express their ideas, they turn out to be phenomenal students. I mean, sometimes we don't. I mean, henceforth, don't believe that when a person always talks, he is good. No, maybe he's good, of course, but there are better students or there are similar students in the class who don't talk. But it doesn't mean that they are not good at communication. They are excellent. Only thing is, classroom is they have aversion in the classroom. They don't speak in the class. You talk to them outside the classroom, so that's why now English is not for the classes. English is for the masses. So actually, we should experiment English in the mass and not in the class. Classes, of course, we have to do that as teachers, but or else maybe transition of English language from the classes to masses. That should be our focus. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Lavanya, ma'am. That was very. Thank you for asking all those questions. Very interesting questions. Thank you. But unfortunately, I couldn't see all of you. Only I can see handshaking, clapping. Yes, yummy. But I don't know. But anyway, it's okay, ma'am. Thank you. It was nice talking to all of you. I don't know. Organizers must be angry. I think we are taking long time as participants and presenter. Organizers might be angry on us. Over to the organizers.
Thank you, sir. So thank you for all your active participation. Now I request Dr. Shabrin Sultana, madam, to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege and honor to extend the vote of thanks at the conclusion of today's enlightening session, which marked the first day of the 5-day International Faculty Development Program on Working with Emotional Intelligence and Life Skills Management, organized by the Department of English, Bapatla Engineering College, in collaboration with LTI Guntur chapter. First and foremost, on behalf of the organizing team, I take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. Nazir sir, for delivering a warm and insightful opening address. I would like to express my gratitude to our distinguished resource person, Dr. D. Praveen Samsar. Your session on optimizing emotional intelligence and life skills management for an AI integrated workforce was truly impactful. Your ability to seamlessly blend theoretical insights with the practical applications has empowered us to reimagine the role of emotional intelligence and life skills in today's dynamic workplace. Your examples, rooted in real world scenarios, resonated deeply with the audience and provided a clear roadmap for personal and professional growth. Your expertise and dedication to the field have left an indelible mark on all of us, and we are truly grateful for you, sir, for your time and effort in preparing and delivering such a comprehensive session. Thank you for being with us today and setting such a high standard for the session to come. To all the participants, your active engagement, thought provoking questions, and keen interest have elevated the quality of this session. Your enthusiasm underscores the importance of such activities and initiatives, and we thank you for your presence and contributions. I thank Dr. Manideep sir and Sai Kishore sir for extending their technical support to organize this event session smoothly. I once again thank you, sir, for your inspiring session, Dr. Praveen sir, and thank you for all being a part of impactful event. Together, let us strive to make this FDP a truly enriching experience. As we look forward to the upcoming session in this FDP, let us carry out forward the insights gained today and continue to enhance our understanding and application of emotional intelligence and life skills in both our professional and personal lives. Dear participants, we have a note announcement. Please note that tomorrow's session will be rescheduled at 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. instead of previously planned 2 p.m. Please kindly note it, as our resource person is from Canada and India is ahead from 12 hours. So kindly support us and please join at morning 11 a.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much, ma'am. Yeah, can I leave?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please.
Bye. I mean, thank you all the participants, because you thank the participants for patiently listening. So they were doing a good job than me. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.